In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said He would send plagues upon the earth before He frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica. Shalom. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. The I.S.U.P.K. is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the nation of the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans at this time. I want to say Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Barakatah to the brothers, Yahweh Shamar Eilatan Ba'asham Yahushai to the sisters. Welcome to our Sunday afternoon scripture breakdown. All right. Now, what we're talking about this week? We're talking about state of emergency recently implemented. And we're asking the question, can this state of emergency solve Jamaica's crime problem? You have, each time crime surge in Jamaica, they come up with a state of emergency. Can that really solve Jamaica crime problem? Obviously not, because this is not the first they're doing it. Not the first, not the second.
Right.
Sorry.
Good.
Not the third time. Not even the fourth or fifth time. This is how terrible. This is how terrible it's gone now. But you find that this is by probably by design. But who is the architect? Sometimes it seems like our they tell about democracy, but it comes like our elected officials are pawns to somebody else. So democracy itself is a what do I call it now? Something like a Trojan horse. A Trojan horse. Because they tell you about you have the right to choose your leaders. Right to choose what? That's not true.
Good.
Because you have the right to choose the pawns. Maybe better they put it that way. never have we made choose leaders. Never have we been able to choose leaders who are for the people. Not since Michael. I would say that because we know how he personally, even though he was a devil and from the oppressor class, but he was he from since him we haven't had a leader who said, we are for the people really. Mm-mm. We haven't had that. We haven't had that. We haven't had leaders. We haven't been able to choose leaders who can say, all right, ease up the pressure on the people. Ease up what pressure?
God.
All our leaders talk about it, they give it appearance as if they want to. All right, you remember when they were talking about tourism and expand tourism? Sure, both of you old enough to remember that. We're all old enough now to remember when they were talking about expanding tourism. Who benefit? Who is benefiting from the expansion of tourism in Jamaica?
Slovakia, not we. Not the people.
Certainly not the people, because prior to them expanding tourism in Jamaica, you had the tourists who used to walk the streets. The tourist was able to engage a jellyman, go to any shop basically, sit and chat if him so he or she so desire. So the people was more in touch with what was going on. Tourists wasn't something that you see on TV.
God.
Because you used to see them pass through your communities. Even on the south coast here, you used to see tourists pass through, going wherever. They used to have renter cars where they used to rent them own vehicle and drive around. Now they come with this thing that they call travel advisory. And what that travel advisory has led to is just a segregation of the money from the people. They find every single little ways to take the money from the people. Can't say more than that. So you take the little money that the little man could have earned from a tourist. You keep it all in an all-inclusive area. And then all the other little avenues of earning, of hustling for the common man, you block that.
God.
What do you expect? You must expect crime and violence. So is it that we are at the place where the oppressor want us to be, or are we here by chance? Looking back at the steps that were taken to come to this point that we are, we can only say we are right where they want to. Right where they want us. Why? Because you're here now. Whenever foreign countries, America, England, the two big ones whose Jamaican name you used to call it, whenever they intervene or have something to say about our crime situation, is they either, in the case of England, they want to build a prison for you, or in the case of, say, America, they would find money to prop up your police force. Donate crime fighting equipment, don't need training to your forces. But when they wanted to destabilize Jamaica, they came in, engaged the command man on the ground,
Gun.
engaged the political party. So why you, if you want really want a change, why not have a program and come in the same way? Engage the parties and get on the ground the same way you destabilize the country. Well, restabilize it. But they will not. They have no such desire. America is never able to start a war and finish it. See them what they do in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is just a more exaggerated or more visible way in which they operate. Go down there, start the war, can't manage it. Just run out, leave it. They come here, destabilize the country, achieve the achieve destabilization, and then run, leave the field that they create.
Gun.
And at the same time, they are the ones who issue travel advisory to their people. So you wonder, is it that they want to see us grow, or they just don't want to see us grow? And this is a decision that our people have to make, not our government. Our people have to look and say, does the bigger authorities want to see us grow or not? Our scripture says separate. So more and more we are going to be pushed to where we see that, you really have to separate from these people to make something of your life. First, they put the state of emergency in a part of St. James, the hotspot, the so-called crime hotspot. So you strike that area. What do you expect? It spill. The men who were there, them find ways to escape. They gone into other communities to make trouble.
Right.
Probably gone back to the community which they are from to make trouble. And all these areas that are called crime hotspots are areas in which organized crime has ventured. All of them areas, organized crime went into those areas and organized and turned the young men and women into criminals. It didn't happen by chance, right? And it's always linked to political a political group or a political gang,
Gun.
whether it is the PNP side or the JLP side. It is always organized. So why they come now and give the impression that, boy, things are getting out of hand? It only appears that it's growing to the point where they themselves might have problem.
Right.
So they want to bring it back under their control. That's all it is. Control. You think they want to stop crime? All they want is to control crime.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. We're going to look at some of the what do you call it now? The measures that were taken to put Jamaica where it is in terms of crime. All right, let's first go to Deuteronomy 28 and 54.
Another one. Gun. Another one gun. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64.
54.
Another one gun. Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom and towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave.
All right, so this is right from the curses that would follow us. It says, the man that is tender among you. This is talking about the young man. I want to study crime in Jamaica, the perpetrators of crime. It's the young people that are the ones that they push to the forefront. Just like in the army, they push the young people into battle. Same way with criminal activities. Some of them man, what they call, man, they done around the place, you know, how much? 20 yard, 30 little bit.
Gun.
Right? Teenager. What's the name of the one they killed the other day? Dagpa. How old was Dagpa? 34. And how much years he did at prison when he was released? Right. See? He died at 34, coming out of a 10-year prison stretch.
Gun.
Which means he went into prison at 24, which means he committed his crimes before that age. So he started committing his crime either as a teenager or 20, young 20s, early 20s. So this scripture is right on target. The young man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. And who does these men kill? How much people have other races them kill? And if them own people them killing. So it's not like a racial war going on.
Gun.
Right? So this show, you know, that the destabilization that was set was also pinpointed. They teach these men to arm only men that look like them.
Gun.
And it would be easy for them to do because Jamaica is what? Roughly about 90%, 85 to 90% black people. Probably even more than that. All right. The other races that you see, majority of them have visa. They can leave whenever they want to leave. Right? So even though the scriptures say the young man shall be evil, his eye shall be evil. All right, let me see if we can find this other one now. All right, that is on Matthew 18 and 7. Let me see if it's it. Matthew 18 and 7. You hear me?
Salakia, sir. Canada one can. This is the book of Matthew chapter 18 verse 7. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to that man by whom the offense cometh.
All right. So offense must come, you know. But woe to the man who bring it. And who is always bringing the offense? Always the oppressor.
Gone.
Always Esau. All right. The next thing we're going to do now. And each time that they put a state of emergency, we always have to go to this method and go to this right back to the point where it starts. All right, crime and violence in Jamaica. I can't find it. All right, so prior to the 70s, background crime, violence in Jamaica. All right, so between 1978 to 1982, we have the highest crime rate ever. They said that's what it was in the Caribbean, but in Jamaica in particular, looking at 40 per 100,000 in time there. So prior to the CIA intervention, we can say crime was very small. All right, even before independence. All right, before we got independence, we got time before independence. $3.9 per 100,000. Crime in Jamaica. All right, if you want to know Wikipedia, we can share this screen. Share screen, Chrome tab, crime in Jamaica. All right, so you can see that screen up?
Gone, sir.
All right, when Jamaica gained independence in 1962, the murder rate was 3.9 per 100,000 inhabitants, one of the lowest in the world. In 2005, Jamaica had 1,674 murders for a murder rate of 58 per 100,000 people. That was our eyes so far. in November 2008, the Jamaica Parliament voted to retain the death penalty, which is performed by hanging. that stick long time. Last time they hung anybody was when? Ages ago.
Okay.
All right, so you see, the only thing that happened between, the major thing that happened between independence 1662 when we had 3.9, which was one of the lowest in the world, and up to say 2005, what happened then? CIA intervention in Jamaica's politics, and spike that murder rate. In 2018, reported murder 1,287. And there were times when we were doing more murder than countries who had wars. Since 2009 to 2020, the murder rate has not gone below 1,000 per annum. It doesn't fall below 1,000. It is up. And the murders that used to commit prior to independence were mainly like domestic, stem from domestic violence. What do we have now? Violence being perpetrated by persons with political or some other influence.
Okay.
Where did they learn that? It's quite obvious where they learned that. All right, let's go into the other thing now. Close this one. Let's see this. Not the right of that. Close that. All right, so foreign affairs. Watch this now. You see when in the 70s, the government at the time had suspected that there was an intervention in the country and a possible plot on the prime minister's life. And he had a meeting with some of the what do I call them now? Diplomats who were in the country at the time. And this was it. Telegram from the embassy in Jamaica to the Department of State in America, Kingston, November 21st, 1977. And it have a number on it. Blah, 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 blah. Meeting with Prime Minister on Penthouse article and Duncan poisoning charge. So they had a meeting with the Prime Minister at the time. After a while, they release all these papers, So they send a telegram to the United States. Summary. This is a summary of the meeting. Prime Minister still believes some CIA people were trying to destabilize his government and perhaps even assassinate him last year. All right, so we said this was which year? 77. So they were talking about 76. He is prepared to believe that top-level officials of the USG, what's the USG again now? United States, it must be the United States government, yeah, including the director of CIA, gave no orders to interfere in Jamaican affairs last year. So probably this was when he went to meet with the then president, because he was good friend of what the president name was in America at the time. That his name.
Reagan.
No man, Reagan is after
Okay.
in the 70s. And
Roosevelt.
that no,
Slack.
no. If you Google it, you will see US President 1976.
Gun.
And he looked him in the eye and said, no, we don't have any. I don't know if that was the time. So the Prime Minister now convinced that, all right, if there is any CIA person out here working against me, then they must be working on their own.
Slack.
All right.
Jimmy Carter, sir.
Carter, right. Carter and Manley was good friends. Or so he believed. Is the oppressor, they can't even trust them own, you know. All right, so they said, including the director of CIA, gave no orders to interfere in Jamaica affair last year, but claimed that there is sufficient irrefutable intelligence which he cannot divulge, but which makes him believe that at least some lower echelon CIA personnel were involved with members of the JLP opposition in the alleged plots. Regarding the Duncan poisoning charge, he is satisfied that CIA was not involved, but says he is not willing to say this publicly because he never publicly claimed CIA involvement. He said he is satisfied also that as of this moment, no element of CIA are interfering in Jamaica. So they managed to convince him that no, CIA not interfering in Jamaica, right?
Gun.
I tell you, no, this is a real three-card man that you cannot trust. You know. Also, that he has confidence in the integrity of the present ambassador to Jamaica and leaders of the present administration, and will sincerely believe whatever they say concerning actions since January of this year, that is 1977, but cannot believe any of us had access to the full range of US government activities for us to exonerate the entire CIA in last year's exploits. So I say, CIA had an hand in it. Two, that is one. My conversation with the Prime Minister on this subject lasted about half an hour. So I just only half an hour chat they went on with the Prime Minister. And can best be described as spirited. He entered the room taking the offenses immediately. He said that he knew what I wanted him to do, but in no way will he perjure his conscience and say things in public just for the sake of maintaining US/Jamaican friendly relations. I told him that nobody was asking him to speak untruths, but that we were puzzled by his recent statement, which have led not only some of us, but Jamaicans as well, to believe he was implicating USG, which is the US government, in the alleged plot against him. He said that Andy Young and I tried to convince him that CIA was not out to get him. But as much as he wants to believe us, he cannot, because we nor anyone else in the present administration know with certainty what was going on at the lower echelon of CIA. He is not willing to believe that we had access to all records and all actions under the previous administration. All right, that is two. All right. And it goes on. This half an hour chat brings out approximately 7 points. All right, let me see 3. The third point, he said that his intelligence service and his military service have proof that opposition leader Siaga had met with Cuban exiles in Miami and with lower echelon CIA officials last year on several occasions. That is point 3. Point 4, the Prime Minister said that there was an attempt on his life in Canada, and if I wanted proof, to ask the Canadian police. 5, he said the Penthouse article must be looked at with some credibility. He said the conversation with Kissinger, and so long Henry Kissinger did in America, they have so bad seed. Yeah, I think he was the one behind the Iraqi war too, you know. Kissinger, for instance, in December 1975, was reported by Penthouse, as reported by Penthouse, is absolutely accurate. Point 6, with no respect to the Duncan poisoning, he said he is satisfied that CIA had nothing to do with it, but he is convinced that some of the same elements that were involved in the destabilization effort last year were also involved in the poisoning. So right here, so in trying to not to say things which is going to make him look like him casting assertions and without proof. So he wanted to maintain that diplomatic relation. But he knew they were behind it, but it's the proof. All right, 7, comment. Our conversation was characterized by the same frankness that he and I have used with each other. The only difference was that he was more excited than he usually is and displayed more showmanship than he usually does on such occasion. So no matter about him more excited, it's not an excitement to say, yeah, I'm glad to see you or something. It's an excitement to say, you did this and you can't tell me anything. We know that it's you people was behind it. Right, that kind of excitement. As reported several times earlier, Manley does indeed believe there were destabilization attempts against him and his government last year. So in plotting all these destabilization attempts, what we have now, what we see now happening in the country where crime is concerned, is a result of this intervention. All right, so this is a meeting between the paper here, and here it says Irving. So this was and this was taken from the Office of Historian in America, Department of Foreign Relations, 1977 to 1980, Mexico, Cuba, and the Caribbean. So this volume XXIII, which is volume 23, deals with Mexico, Cuba, and the Caribbean. And this is document 181 and it's a telegram from the embassy in Jamaica to Department of State. So these communications, they don't, it doesn't go to them and then goes to the trash. It's archived. And after a while, they make them public.
Good.
So this now revealed that they were hiding from Manley at the time, that there were attempts to destabilize Jamaica. All right, the next paper we're going into now actually shows that there was all right, before we do that, let me put, where should I put it? Put it in the chat, put the description in the chat.
You mean the link to the paper?
Yeah, man, put it in the chat.
Gone.
Put it right there. Yeah, this one. All right. Peace. And this it should say telegram from Embassy in Jamaica to Department of State. One 181. All right, let me see if we can move it faster by photocopying this part. Yeah. Bam. Copy. Then paste. Paste. All right, that's it. All right, so the next one now is about the covert operation. All right, this one now says you can see it?
Gun, sir.
CIA manual on deep cover. All right. Covert action, information bulletin, destabilization in the Caribbean. So this is approved for release on the, and you see when they released this document, the 6th of the 9th, 2010, 6th of September. And the number is CIA RDP 90-00845R 000100190003-4. November 10th, August to September 1980. Exclusive in this issue, CIA manual and deep cover. Covert action information bulletin, destabilization and the Caribbean. So if I try Google under this number, but I can't get it. But if anyone have the know-how to use these CIA numbers to find these files that they have released, you can go right to these documents. CIA manual and deep cover. All right, destabilization in the Caribbean. And whose name is on it? Maurice Bishop of Grenada, Walter Rodney of Guyana, and Michael Manley of Jamaica. These trio, in the time of Michael, America see them as a threat and talk that, and try to say that they were going communist and all that. But that's rubbish, because Jamaica had a full communist party who had a military ring, who was firing AK-47s under the name of WPJ, and the both parties know of this party, and they have never physically confronted the WPJ, either to accuse them of communists or whatever, because they taught communists among their party members. So the talk of saying Manley was going communist was absurd, stupid, because there was a communist party in Jamaica. Communism don't come in by vote. So the WPJ, if Jamaica was going communist, it would have been the WPJ who would have brought in communists in the island by force. Yes. What Michael did, though, was to access training from democratic countries and access training also from communist countries. And then his speech was giving more to the people. That was the part that hurt them. giving more to the people. They don't want to give nothing to nobody. All right, let me see. Jamaica. The comprehensive article in this issue, Massive Destabilization in Jamaica, covers fully the activities on that island. I'll blow it up a little. On that island, which led to our on-the-scene investigation. So this was a article. It looked like what they do when they release the papers. You know, you have these companies who print and make some money off it before they have access to the document so they can publish things. All right. Led to our on-the-scene investigation, culminating in a press conference at which we divulged the names of 15 CIA people in the U.S. Embassy in Kingston. As we have named names for several years and done complete analysis of individual stations before as well, for example, Room 705 U.S. Embassy, the CIA station in Madrid, on CAIB number 4. We were not prepared for the incredible scenario which followed. All right. Go down to the contents. Editorial. They talk about the massive destabilization in Jamaica. This paper does not only cover Jamaica, but it covers the Caribbean. Antigua, Grenada, Dominica. Right. All right. So we're going to page 7. Destabilization in Jamaica. We have mentioned this article before. Guyana, Grenada, Antigua, Dominica. They mentioned it. We have mentioned this paper before, but was not able to share it. We find ways now we can make it accessible to others. Yeah. All right. Going down to page 7. Right. Page 7 now deals with where is it? This is gun running. It's not about gun running. Massive destabilization. Massive destabilization in Jamaica, 1976, with a new twist. All right. Approved for release, and each of this page have the CIA number for the document. All right. Model of Chile. All right, here now, this says PNP supporters never took the incident as a joke. However, at a rally several days after the arrest, when Manley announced to the large crowd the maximum sentences for the charges as low as 2 years for conduct detrimental to good order and discipline, they shout out death, death. So this was after now they came up with the gun court and make laws, because those at the echelons of Jamaica's politics felt threatened and believed that their life was at stake. So they come up with laws now to some serious penalties and gun, right?
Gun.
So this was what this is talking about. We'll go up to the next page and see where it came from. Chief of Staff Brigadier Robert Nish, who is a rare television in a rare television appearance, announced that the attempted coup was quite real, but that the plotters had been under observation and the situation was under control. The Commissioner of Police, who was William Bowes, also confirmed this report, since both Niche and Bowes had been the favored objects of much JLP and Gleaner propaganda. They could not be directly attacked, and some steam was taken out of their comic opera approach. So they, people are saying, no go so. There's no attempt on Michael life. All right, this is right. Here it is now, the coup attempt on the other page. And they talk about the attempted. All right, we don't really want to get into the coup attempt. We want to get into other matters that lead Jamaica to what it is. Let's see, where is it? Down, Macbeth speech. All right, so this now talk about gun running and Siaga. Yes, Father. So they say in this article that Siaga was the one who bring in guns. But it did make us a speech say if we lose the election, we're not going to lose the war. So I don't know. Look for the part now where where is that part? The part where they taught people to go to the countryside, scout out the hills. Oh, that statement is not here. All right, listen to this part now. The deputy leader of the JLP, Senator Pernell Charles, who spent time in jail on account of the 1976 werewolf plot, announced, and you said the thing, the people who you think get locked up for the so-called attempted plot of Michael life. It was the black people in the in the JLP, Pernell Charles, Babsy Grace, so that you're black people.
Okay.
I tell you,
God.
we're in a dismal situation in this world. So Pernell was locked up from the JLP for attempted when the state of emergency was when Manley called the state of emergency. But this is what he said. Senator Pernell Charles, who spent time in jail on account of the 1976 werewolf plot, announced that the JLP would defeat the PNP by underthrow or overthrow. Charles also said that the JLP government would revoke dissidents' passport, prompting denials from his own party. All right, so I'll Dudley Thompson name call up in the document here. I'll read all of it. Go to what matters. Okay, so when PJ was deputy prime minister under Manley, to act without consulting them. In the absence of Manley and Duncan, it fell to the more Conservative Deputy Prime Minister P.J. Patterson to act without consulting the cabinet. Patterson bowed to the pressures, removed Thompson as minister, and temporarily assumed the portfolio himself. PJ bowed to the pressure for a long time. When PJ became prime minister, PJ erased everything that was Michael that he could have erased. He can't take pressure. The next day after PNP member of parliament was interviewed on television about political harassment against members of his constituency. All right. The same week, 3 of Dudley Thompson's party workers were shot to death. The Gleaner columnist Don Rich, RITCH, appeared in a television interview stating that she didn't see why people thought Pinochet was so bad. He had done wonderful things for Chile. So what was the destabilization by that group of persons was for Chile, Jamaica, their name, Dominican Republic. That's on page 10. So we can't find it. Up there. 9. Chile, Pinochet under Chile, Walter Rodney under Guyana, or Guyana under Walter Rodney, and Maurice Bishop of Grenada. They were the main ones they were targeting. And what were these people preaching in common? Giving more to the people. Same like Chavez. It's just that Chavez was at a time when communists fall, or they would have said that they would have be saying that he's going communist. Anytime you make a stand for the people, you are going communist. But they can't say that now because communists not that strong again. So you're going for the people now. What you're going for? They soon find a name for it. But the truth has been born, so they can say all they want to say. All right. The part that I want to, I don't think not really on this one. It's on Runins and Edward Siaga. All right. I'm saying we can read out of this. All right, there was a photograph of one journalist intake with Siaga meeting with a arms dealer. Right? Even in his story, even if his story was true, there was little about the tale inconsistent with his subsequent possession of weapons. The appeals court affirmed the conviction but reduced his sentence to 3 years in jail. I think this was a man who did the journalist who did the work, get himself in some kind of trouble. Sometime later, White mysteriously escaped from jail and unheard of feat. Shortly thereafter, he was tracked down by police and killed in a shootout. The incriminating photograph was never found, although White testified that he had given a copy to Johnson, who wanted it to help him collect some debts due from some of Cortro's men. Cortro, who owns the building in which the psychedelic shack club, now the Echo Vibrations Disco, was located, was arrested shortly after the White trial in what was at that time the largest ganja haul in Jamaica history. Culture only recently was released from jail. So this man take a picture of Sierra and we have it. And him end up in jail, picture them disappear.
Good.
When Edward Sierra was asked about the incident at a recent press conference in New York City, he carefully answered that he did not know H. Charles Johnson. He never said how well he knew Culture, a major JLP supporter. As for the picture, he replied carefully again, I have never seen such a picture. That's why people talk said he was sent here by the US to, I don't know, to work for the US, because our constitution clearly states that you have to be born in Jamaica or the Commonwealth country to be a member of parliament in Jamaica, let alone a cabinet minister, let alone a prime minister. He was born in Georgia, in America. He's not a Jamaican by birth. And he was given vast amount of diplomacy and what do I call it now? Leverage to move about and operate in Jamaica. Now, to be a president in America, you have to be born in America, in one of the states of America. I think one of us could go to America if you were even there from childhood and gain American citizenship. You think you can become president? No, you weren't born there. So you setting up state of emergencies on the small man for things he did, while you and your colleagues had done a greater criminality work in allowing, in breaking the constitution. None of them said anything. So what? Well, I'm not upon, you can't stop somebody who's not supposed to be in the house from being in the house. And then when they come in now with their agenda, squeeze the small man as much as they can. You know who is the citizen who was born under Jamaica now, turn around and have to use states of emergency and the poor people, kill them off, right? Imprison a lot of them with long sentences. This is your way of paying the people. What about you who have committed these acts? All right. Let me cut this a little. I'll go back to try to find this. There's a video that I want to share too. They had many speeches that Michael Manley made then. But, you know, it's all I'm not sure if it's this one. It's all in a plot to set the stage in Jamaica for one set of people. It's like a gang. In politics, these men move like gang. So what the gang does, the gang turn things to their favor.
Gun.
How can you stop such gang from doing such thing? I don't think you can. I don't think you can stop them because one, you don't know. They give you the appearance as if they are for you, right? But really and truly, they are not. And when you find out they are not for you, sometimes it's a bit too late. But their reason for pushing democracy the way they push it, is not so much for you, the people, It is so that when one of the parties decide to swing away in a direction opposite to what the powers that be want, they can turn to the next party to destabilize that one. I don't really care about the people. I don't tell about choice and freedom of choice and something. And America has influenced almost every country election around the world. It's one country managed to influence theirs, and that was
Russia.
Russia under Putin.
Gun.
So much to their distaste. Yeah, so what? The influence, and you see how they took it? They took it hard. But they don't need to take it so hard because they have destabilized way more countries than countries that have destabilized them. Not even destabilized, interfered with their election. All right, so this is the next link, which we just read some from. All right, I'll try to see the video now. All right, so. How do I get into this one? My this page are gone somewhere. I really don't want to go there. All right, now next scripture we're going to. Psalms 7, 13 to 16.
Slovakia, sir. Say that again.
Psalm 7,
13 to 15.
To 16, I think.
Where's it? 13 to 16?
Yeah.
Another one can. This is the book of Psalms chapter 7, verse 13. He has also prepared for him the instrument of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors.
All right. So this is the oppressor now. This is the oppressor. The oppressor. Let me find it. Let me say Psalms
7.
Psalms 7. So he hath also prepared for him the instrument of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. So this describes precisely what happened when they decided to, get, what's the word they would use now, really into Jamaica's affairs. Yeah, man, when they came and talk to our people and think, what do you think they were doing? They were basically telling, they were planting instrument of death in amongst our people.
Can.
All right, here is the video.
Tell us a little bit about Louis Wolff and his journalism.
All right, this video now, we're going to play this video after we read these scriptures. Next verse.
Another one can. Verse 14. Behold, he traileth with iniquity. And as
Travail.
Salakia, he travaileth with iniquity, and has conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood.
All right, so here it is describing his work like how a woman would conceive and bring forth a child. He travaileth iniquity. When a woman is in pain to give birth, it says she's travailing in child's birth. Conceive mischief, just like a woman would conceive a child. That's how him conceive mischief. And when this woman would give birth to a baby, what him give birth to? Falsehood. Right?
Can.
This is how our oppressor has operated with us. Nothing good. Right? He give us a false sense of security that believing in them and working their way is going to bring what we are looking for, which is basically just some peace and prosperity in our life. But really and truly, he really wants to see you dead, He only want enough to keep his business and him running. You know what? There are more, this whole heap of us. He has no plans for you. Next verse.
Another one can. Verse 15. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made.
Now, this is exactly what is turning now for it to come. Him same one going to fall into these traps that he has laid for other people. Hello, in class. That he has laid for other people and other nations, and especially the Most High's chosen people, right? And we are the ones who feel the brunt of his hand the most. Turn on the light. No, here's some darkish. We are the one who feel his hands the most. Why? Because he dislikes you the most. Why? Because if you should be awakened, you're the only one who can put him down,
Right.
And he is aware of this. Right? Which arm of the oppressor is aware of this? Right there in the Vatican. The Vatican know what is coming in. So you know this all them leaders, Europe, America. All right. America president went to the Vatican the other day, another private meeting with the Pope. Who knows? Maybe he now receive instruction what's the next step to bring us through. Next verse.
Another one can, verse 16. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate.
All right. All right. What does PATE means? Let's have to find that word. For the short term.
So like yes, sir. Pate. A person's head.
Right. So in other words, shall come down on his own head.
Gone.
All right. So his mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own head. So the same thing that this oppressor do to get us killing each other. All right. What is happening now with Europe? If you follow what is happening between the Poland Belarus border, things are about to get serious down there. Poland deploy 15,000 troops at the border to control something like about 2,000 Belarusian migrants. They are now accusing Yushchenko of Belarus to trying to destabilize the EU. And it's going to happen. It might not happen from that end, but the EU, European Union, will be destabilized. You can't dig a pit, prepare instruments of death for us, for the Most High people, and it don't come back to you. It's in the scriptures. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate.
Gone.
It's going to happen. He's going to fall by on his own sword. So the EU is going to get destabilized. And the same way how we destabilize us in the West here, the Most High, the countries of the Most High people, that we cannot look on Venezuela. Venezuela can't even feed themselves now, and they were doing good under Chavez. And then all of a sudden that just disappeared. They're selling their oil production gone down to zero now. Why? Because they want back control of the oil wells. Chavez took it from the minority who had control over it, and put it and say, no, this must be run fully by the government, which is true. And then the government can use revenues from this to better take care of the people. But that's not how the oppressor think. The oppressor believe keeping you poor so that he may look rich.
Gone.
Because if everybody should have, then him not going to look rich. If you have your heart's content, when you see him, you're not going to see riches. You're going to say, well, that him want. I have what I want. Or when you have nothing, when you see him, it's like you see God.
Gone.
Because, boy, this man can't solve my problem. This man can't get me out of my situation, my economic situation. That's what he wants. But that's not what the Most High is going to give him. The Most High is going to return his mischief on his own head, so much so that it kill him. And rightfully so. All right, let me see. Can take a scripture. All right, we're going to do James. No, James. No. Proverbs 4:14 to 19.
Can everyone can? Can everyone can? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 14.
4.
Salakia, sir. 4. Salakia.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men.
So all these brothers now will get caught up in the crime situation today. What had happened in the past? You had done men who flourish, and men saw them flourishing and say, "Yeah, we can take on. We can." They don't really say, "I can take a life of crime," you know. They just say, "Can be like that brand, you know." You look on a Zeke, you look on a Doodles, you look on this, and you look on that, and say, "Oh, more be a done too." What happened now? Which Dan has not been cut down?
Right.
Everything, well, except Skengdan. It must be the untouchable Dan. Well, anyway, him saying is not no Dan. But every political stronghold dons. And the worst thing, they're all Israelites. All of them get cut down. Mainly by death. Few go into prison. And some who go into prison, they come out, they still want to get back in the game, and they end up dead. All Israelites. Right? But all this happened because the oppressor is doing what he's doing, you know. But we have to safeguard ourselves by knowing our instructions. There's not another nation on this earth that have written instructions on how they should live and what to prepare for. And you can't talk about the Muslim and the Hindu because they get writings which who write them can't follow it. And their writings lead to destruction. We have writings that lead to eternal life. We are the only ones who the Most High show the way to eternal life. But we keep on looking across the fence and believing that, yeah, I can be like the Hindu man, I can be like the Muslim.
Okay.
Right now you want to be like the Christian. Christian is really Roman, you know. Let us take the name Christian from our way of life. Just like how the Jewish man take on the term Jew. But was he truly a Jew? No. He's not of the seed of Jacob. Right? So he's not Judah. He's not an Israelite. And he never call it. This is the interesting thing, you know. The man who says he's from Jewish religion has never called himself an Israelite. What do he call himself?
The Jewish man.
Jewish or Israeli.
Okay.
Because he knows that he's not Israelite.
Okay.
Right? No, they name the country Israel. Okay. So once you're born in that land, if you go there now and have a child there, that child is an Israelite. Sorry, an Israeli.
Okay.
But it might not get citizenship. Depends on how you go into the country and whatever. Right? A whole lot of Arabs have living there, you know. But they have to sign an agreement that they are second-class citizens. Right? Now, this oppressor has encompassed us in every way possible. I think they're running out of ideas now. Because what they are doing is doing the same thing again and again. Like curfews, state of emergencies. They will soon find a way to control us. Another method of controlling. And that will anytime this world have a major war, you see another method, a different method of controlling our people, the Israelites, being unveiled on our people. It won't be for our good. It will be for our detriment. But this probably is what is going to squeeze the people more to start genuinely go back to the Most High. Because everything around is going to just fail. And when you see it failing, one of two things, you either go jump off a building or you find yourself in the truth. But you're not going to be nice for you or pretty for you alone out there. You're going to just see people around you dying, and you end up dying too. You understand? So the Most High is bidding us to not enter into the path of the wicked. Go not in the way of evil men. Verse 15.
Another one can. Verse 15. Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it. And pass away.
Right. Avoid these evil people. Avoid them. Your person come to you and then come to you with certain wickedness. You're supposed to can pick it up, you know. But like I said, they like to target the younger men whose mind. You are, when you reach that mid-30s going up in age, you start develop or has developed reasoning. The young man have no reasoning in him. You understand? He no have a sense to reason and say, say, I have a family, I want a family or something like that. When say, why money me say no? Oh, it's either money or debt. But when you reach certain age now, I think that way. It's life. I want life. But sometimes it's too late for him. All right. Verse 16.
Another one can. Verse 16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief. And their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall.
Just like I hear the story about the two brothers who got murdered around Bulby.
Okay.
I said it's two wrong person, you know. They want his three brother and they want the other brother, right?
Okay.
So you go. Right. But they went in the house and they saw the next two brother who they didn't want. And one decided, oh, some killing have to go on tonight, you know. While the other one was saying, no, man, I know them we want, leave them. So, no, man, some killing have to go on tonight. So, what? This is it. They sleep not, except they have done mischief. Their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. They can't sleep if they don't kill.
Right.
And this is the demon that comes on you when you take them teachings from the oppressor. Right? Because what they get themselves entangled in now, you know, is not a situation where you're in need or you're a man of a strife and you end up killing. You now take unto yourself that you hear someone who used to sling gun, you know, they say, oh, a man can't tell me nothing, you know. Every gun have a demon pan, you know. Because once you hold that, you know, you feel different. You just want to boss it. A man talk to you, you just want to boss him. Right. Which is probably true. I mean, you hold gun, but the intentions that you have now come to life. You've been through so much anger in your life, so much angry situation that now you're saying, yeah, my chance is now to go and revenge somebody. Okay. Yeah, I mean, why you want to do things like this? What you gain? There's no monetary gain in it for you. There's no physical gain. So this is a spiritual battle you're fighting, which you don't even realize. Because here it is in your scriptures. Verse 17.
Another one can. Verse 17. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence.
Eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. 18.
Another one can. Verse 18. But the part of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day.
Right. So you know in the truth, your path is a shining light. And you know, those wicked men out there, they see it, you know, even the oppressor, you know, they see the shining light in you, you know. But the oppressor himself cannot get this shining light.
Can.
Your brother who he turn against you, that brother can get the shining light. And the oppressor knows that this shining light is for a certain set of people. So, but him can't get it. So what him do now? Prevent you from getting it. Because him know that him can't get it, you know. Even while we were in slavery and they had our scriptures and everything totally to themselves, they were not able to follow the instructions to reach the level that we had reached. Even though we were so disobedient, our righteousness still had surpassed anything that they could come with. You understand? And for this, they are envious of you. Right? They are able to follow your scriptures to a certain limit. And look at what they gain. Look at the wealth they have. Is your blueprint they have running this world? You know? Yeah. The United Nations, the banks, monetary thing. This is all us, Israelite. We are the ones who the Most High give the blueprint to control this world. But we fell. So they take it and they are using it. But the Most High said he did that to bring jealousy upon you. So you're supposed to look at that and say, oh, nah, man, no one about my rightful space, man. You understand? And start doing the things that you need to do to attain that. Because what you need to do is not to take up arms, you know. What you need to do is to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. The way how you carry yourself and behave daily, what you eat, right? How you choose your woman, right? These things, the things that you have control over. So world power is not far-fetched from us. It is right there by us doing the things that we have control over. Do it unto God. Do it spiritually. Do it Him according to His laws, according to what Christ, the rules that Christ laid out for us. Those good seeds that Christ speak of, sow them inside. But no, you have to make money and glitter and glam. All these are man-made things, which if you get it right, you would have been able to make better than these things for yourself. Most of us, the crimes we commit are for our clothes. We want some good clothes. Christmas a come, we want, you see, Christmas coming, crime going up because you want to celebrate the oppressor's holidays. It's not your holidays you want to celebrate. You want to go and celebrate the oppressor's holiday, and you don't have the money, so you turn to crime. Continue. What for I reach? 19 no.
Canada
19 and last.
Salakia, say that again, sir.
19 and the last.
Canada 1 can. Verse 19. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble.
Exactly. Darkness. In other words, the stumbling here of the wicked, you know, is in debt, and get cut down, and find himself in prison. But he know not what caused him to stumble.
Gone.
Because in his mind, the man who come give evidence against him is the one who caused him to stumble. The police who lock him up, them cause him to stumble. One, he never says that what him do cause him to stumble. You know. But say, I'm going to kill them people there. We wouldn't reach here, so. He's not going to say that. He's not going to look and say, the works that he did cause him to stumble. Neither is he able to see the spiritual warfare that is looming, that are all in, which has take hold of him. He's not able to see that. And why is it called a spiritual warfare? Because the first thing we open with, Deuteronomy 28, 54.
God.
And it said, the young man that is among you, his eyes shall be tender toward Sammy. The young man that is tender among you, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. Those were laid down from the time of Moses. Them there was said long before now, but it is affecting you. Why is it affecting you? Because you're not doing the things you should do for the Most High God. And like we have said in the truth, all the other nations may choose a religion and may try to follow God. You Israelites must follow God. And it's not through no religion, through the way of life that He set forth in the Bible. All right, one other thing that happened to help destabilize Jamaica. Close this. All right, we're going to play this video now.
Publications. Who is Lewis and what has he been doing over the years, and why
the government so outraged by him?
Well, his background is it's thoroughly legitimate standard, if you will, journalism. He was assigned for a couple of years in Manchester, writing for a couple of prominent news organizations.
Manchester, England?
Yes, Manchester, England. And eventually made his way through London back to the United States, where he gravitated to scrutiny of the CIA and the intelligence community, watching the revelations of the Church Committee, information that he had come across in his research, some of which he had published as part of news stories previously, other parts of which he was not permitted to publish by the nature of the press establishment. And so he put together with Bill Schaap and Ellen Ray the Covert Action Information Bulletin, whose function was to focus on the intelligence organizations of the United States and discuss and expose in a perfectly legitimate way the covert action activities of the CIA principally, as well as the other intelligence organizations. I believe they formed that in about 1976 and have been in Washington since, publishing stories of true stories. Their quality, their standards of journalism are exceedingly high.
Right, so this journalism thing that he's talking about is the same paper that we were reading from. Remember I said, it seems like when persons, like when the CIA release certain paper, then you have those who have access to it and they make publications of it. Right?
Good.
So this is what he's talking about. He says their journalism is exceedingly high.
That bulletin is distributed in the State Department, and it's sold out the first morning that it's put on the stands in the State Department newsstands. They also publish in that bulletin the names of CIA agents and where they are now. as they're assigned and reassigned about the world. I believe that in very recent months they have ceased the policy of publishing names because the controversy is so hot, and they would just as soon. And also, it's never been their intention to break the law. They've made that clear from the outset. Bill Schaap is the brother. He is a highly competent attorney and is the brother of a top sportscaster in New York City. He is a very articulate man himself and has testified to the Senate many times against the names of Agents Bill, for example, and defending what he and Luke.
Years that you've been publishing it, do you think are some of your most significant revelations? Are there some stories that even shocked you?
Well, I think one of the big stories that we were able to document in some detail was the whole scope of CIA activities, similar to what the CIA did in Chile, and which was documented by the Senate Select Committee, was the whole covert action program in Jamaica.
Right, so the covert action program in Jamaica. This same method was done in Chile before under Pinochet.
Between 1976 and 1980. And we did a great deal of research into that, and we discovered in many ways, a very similar program, almost a classic model that was followed along the lines of what they did in Chile, including three major categories: military, paramilitary activity, the use of propaganda in the media, and the third one, which was economic warfare, using the multilateral organizations, the International Monetary Fund and others, to withhold loans which had been promised to the Jamaican government. This is one example.
What are a couple more of the details of that? You mentioned those first two examples of actual paramilitary activity the CIA was involved in Jamaica.
There was a fire, for example, that took place in Jamaica of an old people's home. I think 150 old and infirmed women, many of them blind, were living in this home. And as it turned out, the place burned down in the space of about 8 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes. It was discovered that the phone wires had been cut and that the exits had all been blocked. Even those who could see their way out could not get out. That the means by which the fire was set was the use of a petroleum jelly, which was unavailable in Jamaica. This was one indication, among others, that there was outside help. Why would the CIA, you might ask, why would the CIA want to murder 150 old women? It was because it was an effort, part of a very large-scale effort to discredit the government in Jamaica, which was at the time headed by Michael Manley, the Prime Minister. There were images produced of Michael Manley in the media, in the Daily Gleaner, which was the newspaper which the United States, through the CIA, helped to support. And there is a good deal of evidence of that. There were images of Michael Manley showing a death mask. I mean, it was his face which had been somehow made to look like a death mask, although it was pretending to be a photograph of him. And there were many ways to try and discredit him. This is very, very similar, in fact, to what the CIA did to try and discredit Salvador Allende in Chile. If you remember, Richard Nixon instructed the CIA in a meeting, which was in 1970 in the White House, and there was a document in the Senate report, which is reprinted, and he said, "Make the economy scream." Those
soaring prices, massive shortages.
This is one thing which they use, make the economy scream. And by making the economy scream, what do they mean? They mean that make the people suffer.
Gone.
So in any ways, the economy screaming, who you think going to scream? You? Because what happened in the 70s when they were making our economy scream? Capital flight. The man who have the money, buying plane fare and then come out with the money. Well, many of them did abroad as a pauper. But you left back in this situation to face death. You feel the tightness of the economy. So this tells you that these stronger power has the power to make your economy better or make your economy worse. Because if they can instruct the CIA, make the economy scream. And the earlier man said that one of the things that they did was to when we have loan drawdown from IMF and so, they didn't come on time. So you end up in stress and problems. You're supposed to get some money today to clear these bills and things, but it don't come. It comes 60 days later or whenever. So what? It's going to be a chain reaction. Those who you're supposed to pay can't get paid when they are supposed to get paid. So your economy must feel, because these money come in and they turn. When you get some money, what you do? You're not going to buy things, don't?
Okay.
So the persons who you spend with, they benefit from your spending, right? Nobody don't get money and just sit on it totally till they're dead. You spend at some point. And these are the money that keep your economy turning, which is why they want people to come back out of lockdown and get the economy back up and turning. I spend money with you. You in turn take that money and go spend it with somebody else, who in turn spend it with somebody else, who in turn spend it with somebody else. Wow. So it goes around. Exactly. But making the economy scream. So what they do, they dangle food over your head. That's why you are told to do them, but the same thing.
And that's, of course, what the CIA proceeded to do in Chile, and that's what they also did in Jamaica.
They also furnished a lot of munitions and assistance to the terrorist squads that were going around killing people in the cities and also in the country.
All right, listen to this one now. This part here now, after them scream your economy, the man there mentioned about a terrorist squad. Right. So this was what they did. This is the dirty work that they do now. This is where the tire hit the road. After them squeeze your economy, then them build a terrorist squad in the country that goes around and kill people in the countryside and in the town area. Listen why. So we can go back a little bit.
To the terrorist squads that were going around killing people in the cities and also in the countryside in Jamaica as well.
That's correct.
Well, John, you had a trip down to Jamaica and you saw a lot of these things about Jamaica with your own eyes, right?
Yes, indeed. A very moving, a very interesting trip to me to see a target country at a time in the height of a CIA operation when I was completely outside. So there's no way that I could see the problem that journalists have always had when the U.S. government was targeting on a country in a situation, trying to destabilize it, overthrow, or manipulate the elections or whatever, of trying to figure out what's going on when you don't have access to all of the flow of cables and the discussions in National Security Council meetings and whatnot for the planning. I observed that from published information, the CIA station there was quite large for that size of a country. It was huge, in fact. It was bigger than any station I knew of in Africa.
All right, see? So it was a big operation they had out here. You hear what I'm saying? Him come on, him say the station that they had, meaning the area, the room, and the layout that they have to operate was even bigger than some of the operation that they were doing in Africa and elsewhere in the world. So they had a big operation, unless they had it headquartered in Jamaica, and then they were running it in other countries in the Caribbean. But he was surprised at the size of the operation that was taking place in Jamaica.
Although Jamaica was a fairly small island with 2 million people. That's typical of when the CIA has got a big operation going in a place, they beef up the station and beef up the offices back stateside. Mm-hmm. The tone and flow of articles in the Gleaner was, of course, as Lou says, Definitely a chapter out of Chile or a chapter out of the Angolan operation. Every indication of a massive CI operation going to destabilize the government, to make the economy scream. And in that case, I would say that probably someone got promoted for that one, probably several people.
Because Manley was run out of
Because
office
it worked.
by a legitimate
without a scandal, without an assassination, without the things that have caused the CIA so much grief. Manley, a champion of social democracy, of giving the people a piece of the pie, was thrown out of office, and an arch capitalist was put in office. And again, there was minimal adverse publicity. Lou Wolf and the others were studying the situation and did publish about what was going on, but it was not published in the New York Times and the Washington Post, and the big television networks didn't do studies on it, primarily because even if the journalists of the big organs knew what was happening, and
so basically they carry out their operations secretly from their American people, because that's how you do that. The things that they publish out here, that you hear on the American news, the whole of killing and thing, is what they want to publish.
God.
Because then they did not publish the things that the CIA were doing. It was not carried on their big network and their big newspaper. The New York Times and so didn't carry anything about it. So if the CIA didn't release these papers according to the laws that they have, there would have been it would have been a hearsay out here. But it was when the CIA released the paper, then said, oh, so it was happening indeed. Because what was happening was that our people was real pawns, were taken for real pawns at the time. All right, give me some more scriptures. Give me, which one we just do?
Okay.
All right, go. Give me Proverbs 10 and 11.
Canada one can. Canada one can. Canada one can. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 11. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked.
The mouth of the wicked speak nothing but violence. So how did they speak to Jamaica? Set up a terrorist squad which go around terrorizing people under the banner of politics. You know, scout out the country area. So if they went to the PNP, they would be scouting out who is Labourite in the ear. And if they went to the Labourites, they would be scouting out who is socialist in the ear. Right? And try to kill them all. You remember I talk about this, it happened down here, where the men down here was on guard for intruders who come scout out. Because what used to happen, you see strange man in the community, pay him no mind. 2 days after your killing go on in the community, him come in the place, come scout out who him can kill. Sometimes it's not him, is the shooter. The shooter come in after. And him just say, this or. And them lick and gone. So what communities start to do now is to safeguard themselves. And this give rise now to men who couldn't safeguard themselves back then, come up now. I remember how that community there did come over Theme Place and create havoc with killings. So him get a bus now and then go firing. What him do? Him send back guns, come get the man and say, yo, we have to watch the place, we're not supposed to guard the place.
Good.
Well, that era is over. No, you're not watching and guarding a place. Now again, right? That era gone. But the teachings that they gave to the men are still here, and is what is giving us trouble with crime. It's the same tactics that they taught. Terrorism is not something will leave you in a 1 and 2 and 3 generation. You know, it goes on because this is now terrorism, which is turning about some money. So they are seeing some monetary gain in the things that they are doing. What's the main thing? Extortion.
Okay.
What else? Scamming. They're the two big things now giving them money. Not even drugs again, you know. Extortion and scamming. That man not try plant ganja like whatever they used to plant ganja and go sell. A few persons doing that now because the bigger player now come in and same oppressor again. Legalize it and come now. Take over your market. So the little man on the road now, in turn a bigger killer. Right? He want to bust the biggest gun now. Because he learned some terrorism ways, which when you reach certain age, that you know, is that you do, right?
Okay.
To him, to go do some selling or something, him don't know that. I know that him see. I know that him learn. Him learn to kill people and take what them have. And from him a little youth, him see that, him see them, you see how the gunman them flex. So, oh, I want to be a gunman too. The gunman is the man who him now emulate. Right? And all this is set by your oppressor. This is the spiritual warfare that we are fighting. Because look on the other side now. Who give a gun? The man who got gun, who give? No next Israelite by give.
Gun.
Yeah. Is the next Israelite give him now? Who is he going to kill? A next Israelite. Who is going to catch him, either lock him up or kill him? A next Israelite.
Gun.
Who make the gun?
The oppressor.
The oppressor.
Gun.
Who teach him? Who teach us terrorism amongst our own people? The oppressor.
Gun.
Who is walking scot-free? The oppressor. This is a spiritual warfare. And the longer we take to wake up, is the more of our people going to die in it. And many of us who is a bit distant from this kind of warfare, he said, sure, I didn't go make the choice. But how far are you from it? There was a time when it was in Kingston and people said, as long as a Kingston, they make it stay there, man. Where is violence now? Every week.
Gun.
Right? That spark has, you ever see when fire prop like fireworks and the sparks fly wherever, and sometimes the sparks drop in somewhere and ignite and start a fire, another fire on its own. That's what happened. How you think Clarendon gets so violent? It's the same tactics. The same gang. It's a gang terrorism affair they use, you know. They teach these to political gangs who in turn go on recruitment drive in other areas to recruit men for the gang. They come Clarendon, they go Manchester, they go Montego Bay, then go all about. And this is now the after effect because CIA don't do work and gone. But it don't leave you with an economy that caters to you. The economy still caters to him. And is catering to him now more than back in the 70s. Right? Them have all the hotels. Them control tourism. And they have done a study and see the monetary benefits that tourists can bring to an economy. If you are in a tourist area, just having a shop in a tourist area, you make money, you know, and make good money too. Yeah. Right? So just imagine how much money those all-inclusives are making. Because them charge them for everything. that they're going to buy, they're going to need before they come out here. You know. They pay those monies. I'm paying US dollars. And what you get out of it? You don't get anything out of it. Because the other thing is that they also import the food that they use to feed them. So they don't even take it from the local market. They sell jelly in there, but the jelly man locally, him don't always make money. Because they're bringing some jelly from foreign too. Carry them in cans, carry them in other ways. Right? Probably go down to Thailand, Vietnam, them place there. Because those areas grow coconut trees good, you know. And at the same time, what did he do? He kill out our native coconut. You know the days when the planes used to go around and fly and spray? And say them a spray cane and say, well, that spray is what kill out our coconut industry. That spraying that they did. All right. Go back a little more on the tape.
Might have wanted to. They really just, because of the secrecy, couldn't get the truth about what the United States was doing. One interesting thing was that the effectiveness of the lies, the liars in our government, you know, the duplicity. When we formed the CIA, we committed our leaders to having two policies, as Lou says, the rhetoric, the public statements, and the truth about what United States policy is. So an interesting measure of presidents is how effectively they lie. Interesting discussions that occur inside the CIA is about lying. Would you lie? You know, you're the DDO and you're going to testify to the Senate. And it's serious discussions. Are you going to lie? Because if you do, it's perjury and there's a chance you could go to jail. And yet, you know, the organization expects you to lie. President Carter was one of the most effective liars I have ever watched on television and through the media. As a poker player, man, I would never go up against that man. He could look at that camera and say things that obviously he knew were completely and totally false. And I would study his expression and I could detect nothing except occasionally a little wisp of a smile that wasn't consistent with what he was saying. Like he thought it was funny. But one of his more classic
tick, actually.
Yeah, well, the smile that I was referring to wasn't that. It was just a kind of like he was repressing a grin, like he thought it was funny. How he rationalized these things, I don't know. But one of his most conspicuous lies was when he sat down with Manley just a few weeks before the elections in Washington and told him face to face that the CIA, don't have the CIA doing anything to destabilize you or your government. We have no such program going. When obviously he did. And he pulled it off to the point where even Manley was troubled. Very effective liars.
All right, so that's it. All right, I need to post this now. Post this in the chat as well. So all our people who abroad having the most thing to say about Jamaicans wicked, Jamaicans this, Jamaicans that. They have no clue that that same country that they the same country that they run left yard to, they are the one, they are the perpetrators as to why back home is so wicked.
God.
Right? And where is that state of emergency to make to bring those persons to justice? Where is the court that is going to try them for the criminal acts they did, like killing that 150 people? But here again, now we have a state of emergency in sections of the island for crimes which was taught to our people by these same people with them CIA operation and thing. What we have now is just the remnants of these operations. It has spread across the country. You see the mention about the terrorist squad is just one little mention in make, and yet still that was the biggest, most detrimental thing of the entire operation. That is what is squeezing us until now in terms of crime. We're still getting economic squeeze, but which one you fear the most right now? The crime, because it's me and you who getting shot, who getting murdered. No people will look like me and you, man. Okay. So we have to get over the hurdle then before we can attack any economic situation. You know? You're going in your house, you're wondering. You live with people, I wonder what they might do, because people, your relative might go outside and do something which he knows that he did something wrong, and him don't come home. And then the next thing you know, killer come in the house. And him don't say anything to anybody, you know, in the house, you know, because it seems like that's what that would be. Him don't say anything to anybody in the house. Put your brother on the card. Why, you know, do so and so and so. Keep your eyes open, you know. You understand? No such thing. And who pay the price?
The innocent.
It's too bad. And they probably don't know a thing. They probably not even know that I'm involved in wickedness, you know. They probably don't know. Right? As well as some know and they say, boy, I know me do wickedness, you know.
Okay.
It's not me. But you can't be in the environment and deny. Yeah, man. The Bible scripture tells us that don't walk in the wicked man way, man. Don't stay far from him. Don't have him in a space. Or you are going to feel is wrong. Is what he should have come into him is going to share between you and him. All right, next scripture. Give me Psalm 72 and 14.
Canada one can. Canada one can. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 72, verse 14. He shall redeem their soul from deceit and violence, and precious shall their blood be in his sight.
All right. So this is the most I know. You guys, the poor man go up in life affected by crime right now, because the only effect that the only thing that is affecting the rich from the crime is not so much the killing, because he's not the one being targeted, unless a man can juke him down and take away what him have. He's not the one being targeted. What is affecting, how it affects him, business-wise.
Okay.
When travel notice, travel advisory is given by these countries and less tourists come to the island, that's one. And two, robbery. But you and I are affected in so many ways. A lot of the poor people, Christmas coming now, they want to go make some money. Yeah, them can make a money, yes, but a lot of them know the violence that they're going to have to go through just to make a money. Because one of the things that can happen, and it happens every year, people get stabbed up fighting over spot to sell. It's happening in Kingston every year. It happens probably in Montego Bay. It happens everywhere. Some get dead. You can get robbed. A lot of things happen to the poor, right? The poor is the one who is feeling the most eyes grassroots people is the one who's feeling the brunt of criminal activity. But here now it is telling you, we shall redeem their soul from deceit and violence. And that is what is happening to us. We are being deceived and violence killing us. Precious shall be their blood in the Most High sight when he redeem them. Right? So redemption is coming still. And it is not a state of emergency that is going to redeem us. A state of emergency only bring the crime down, and it also spread it because you clamp this area. Them gone elsewhere, gonna commit crime. That is why they have to this morning they have to announce other areas that they have state of emergency. It was one place in Moby, and now you have it in St. Andrew South, Kingston Central, right? Kingston Central was where that is where we have camp when we go to camp in Kingston. And during the time when our camp got suspended because of rain and so on and so forth. You remember there was some killing right there in Central Kingston. Yeah. And the most I move us out, man. And you have the political party who got arrested, the money people and get arrested in the same area that we would have had camp. So many things happening. He shall spare the poor and needy. He shall redeem their soul from deceit and violence. Precious shall their blood be in his sight. So it's not state of emergency that can clean up this place. Is we really have to clean it up, right? Get the people's eyes to open. There was a time when Europe was a violent place. Look at Europe now. Almost anybody would want to go to Europe now to live. Why can't we set that? We have tried. We have tried to build economic centers for ourselves as Israelite people. America and Judah tried. Rosewood. What's the name of the other one? Black Wall Street. And other towns who they kill out. Because you need to come and spend your money with us. Because your economy is stifling ours. NBA. You used to have the Black Basketball League, and it used to draw more people because there's a better player over there. Same thing with what you call it, baseball, the American, what you call it, national, Rugby. No, not rugby, man. The one where they use the bat, what they call that one day? NFL. I thought the NFL.
Baseball.
They use the bat. NFL are the baseball league, right?
No, sir.
No, NFL are National Football League.
Okay.
But the baseball, you have a baseball league over there. Well, the bid. Serena play baseball. Eh? A girl named Serena, she play baseball. No, man, she play tennis. The baseball, the one where you swing the bat.
Good.
Bat. Yes. I don't know that. I think Super Bowl. Super Bowl is on.
Lord, that's the same NFL.
NFL and Super Bowl. Well, the baseball league, which pay a lot of money. People who like to watch baseball. And baseball, I want for the team, yeah. Tennis, that man. Table tennis. You stand up and you run to the different bases and the field. Okay. No, man, rugby. You see, what we call rugby, is it America called football. Okay. You see what America call football, is what we call football, is what they call soccer. Okay. Right. Yeah, man, you bat and you run. You drop the bat and you run. Exactly. The black teams the black league used to draw more people and more money than the white league. The white league, yeah, they have their sophistication and thing, but people want to see the better players. It's in the 60s now when stupidly Malcolm X talk about integration, which was another plot by the oppressor to use one of our people as pawn, because he was used as a pawn, right? They use him to talk about integration. And what was it? When he had his speech, he was talking about people them getting work. The march was about the people them finding work. But the oppressor twist it and turn it and put it as integration. Because his plan was to take away your economy and dovetail it in his economy. And what happened since then? Their leagues and things are the richest now. Right? They can play basketball, you can pay millions of dollars to a basketball player. And so just imagine how much you make it. This is how the system works. That was at 72 and 14. All right, give me James 3 and 18.
Another one can. Another one can. This is the book of James chapter 3 verse 18. And the fruit of the righteousness, of righteousness, is sown in peace of them that make peace.
Right. The fruit of righteousness is sown in peace, not in these wars that we sometimes you wonder if this country can break out in a civil war, Probably not, because believe it or not, they have the control over the crime that is happening. Fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. So all we need to do is to just enlarge the peace force in this place. Come into the truth. Be a part of the truth. Commander, commanding General YAHANNA, so you can get to see into these things. Many you travel and go abroad and you throw back stone on Jamaica. Oh, Jamaica wicked. Because why? You're living in America. What about the wicked? Because the wickedness that you experience here in Jamaica, or you read of here in Jamaica, they are the mastermind behind it. I will just prove it to you. Questions?
Yeah, sir, no question.
All right. All right, so with no question, we say pass the class to Priest and Officer Kayado.
All right, clap it up. All right, these are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And the command. You rule, brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, we're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. There's another slacker. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, they must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. The intent in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, that is the Feast of Dedication, or Akanika, that is the 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days. This is on Sunday, the 28th of November, for 8 days. You can find this in 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 52 to 61. reminding Akiam and Aquatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say Imadium, which means to stand. Sarah Lapanya, Akodam, which means turn, face the east. And I say in Hebrew and then in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabashamaya.
Shabashamaya.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Aya.
Aya.
Chamka.
Chamka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Watka.
Watka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Atazaka.
Atazaka.
Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Mashamaya.
Mashamaya.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kal.
Kal.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kasalak Nawa.
Kasalak Nawa.
Kawabwat Yanawa.
Kawabwat Yanawa.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabaya Anawa.
Tabaya Nawa.
Banasayawan.
Banasayawan.
Abal.
Abal.
Awashai Nawa.
Awashai Nawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwat.
Amalakwat.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ataparat.
Wa'ataparat.
La'aywalamyam.
La'aywalamyam.
Amen.
In English, our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever so be it. Amen.
Forever so be it. Amen.
Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
To the heathen that speak against us.
To the heathens that speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen.
And shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel.
And shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites and the nations.
To the Edomites and the nation.
And their drug dealers.
And their drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Synagogues and armies.
The Roman Catholic Church.
The Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, Skinheads, Posse Comitazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airways, cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro. Through the earth. And consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers. And punish all the heathens. That come up against us. As we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that is the angels that hath done it. Cause it to be spread through the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh, thank you always, so be. This is the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Baba Kwasha. Nathan Lanawa. Akak. Larapa'a. Kalmakala. Wakalmadawa. Akak. Lata'a. Amatazaria. Akak. Lahakwaya. Amathiam. Akak. Irakawa. Atamala. Agarashan. Ba'asham Yawashai. Tawada Aman. In English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh. Please give us the power. The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out in the name of Yahweh. Thank you, so be. Right, this is the prayer for the blessing in the Hebrew. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Barak Lanawa. Wayasharala. Waha. Bayat Sapariam. Barak. Rapa'a. Magan. Hagan. Commanding General YAHANNA. Captain. Generals. The captains. Officers. The troopers. The young men and the sisters. Ba'asham Yawashai. Tawada Aman. What we have just said in English, Lord, in the name of Yahawashi, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahawashi, thank you so be.
All right, sorry, which means to turn. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahawashi Barakatah.
Yahweh Ba'asham Yahawashi Barakatah.
Yademata. Sorry, which means to turn. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel. I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alatan Ba'asham Yahawashi. Yademata. Class dismissed.
All right, just sign up.
Another one can. All right, everybody remember to like the video. If you don't have no question, just leave it in the comment section. Subscribe and share on all social media platforms. And with that, we say shalom.
In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up-and-coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said he would send plagues upon the earth before he frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Shalom.